What's going on, guys? We are back with our weekly After the Impact show. Glad that you can come over and join us for this. This is going to double as a prediction show for us as well for Slammiversary. So that is what we're going to be most focused on tonight, because we knew we wouldn't have a chance to go back and do that with our schedule for the rest of the week. So we are going to do that right now. And obviously, you guys are more than welcome to give us your picks as well as we go through it. But let's start out by just talking about what we just saw on the show tonight. So on the Go Home show, we'll go round table here. You guys can shout out your scores. We'll do the same. And basically what we'll do is we'll kind of just keep it down to, each person in our panel here, excuse me, can go over a couple of moments that they had seen tonight that really kind of caught their eye. So we'll do that. We'll give our scores for the show, and you guys can start to give yours for tonight's Go Home show. Did you enjoy it? Was it one of the better Go Home shows? Maybe did you think it was lacking something? I know I saw a couple comments from our last stream that said, no Sammy and Kenny. But again, the buildup was done over Twitter on via tweets and stuff like that. So let us know. Let us know what you thought about tonight's show. So let me start out, and I will go to our guest tonight. I'll go to Conrad to start out. So Conrad, what did you think of tonight's Go Home show? We've seen a bunch of Go Home shows from Impact that are really, really excellent. What did you think of tonight's, and what were some of the things that you thought stood out for you?
I think tonight, what the problem with me in shows is it's so hard to put a number on them sometimes, and I'm usually like, it's either thumbs up or thumbs down for weekly television
and that's fine.
shows.
Yeah, that's fine.
I will say thumbs up. If I have to put a number on it, I'm going to say 7.5, 8. You know what? We'll go in the middle, 7.75. That to me, that's fair. I really like the build up to a lot of the undercard matches tonight, if anything. I like the teasing of who's facing Deonna Purrazzo. There were several name drops and little moments where they teased that. I liked even the Havoc match. Like, I thought that was really, really good and got me interested in a match that I'm not really thinking about when it comes to Slammiversary right away. So that's for me.
Okay, fair enough. Tazzy, we'll go over to you. What did you think? Let me just read out some people who are shouting out some stuff here. Big Dan's here. What's up, Big Dan? Hi, gang. It's been a while. Wanted to pop in tonight because I haven't seen my boys in a while. What's going on with you? Hope you are well. Bliss Fan is here. Chad says, I give it an 8 out of 10. The podcast is always a 10 out of 10. Well, thank you, Chad. Appreciate that. Azan says 8 out of 10. Kook says 8.5 out of 10. Jordan says a 7 out of 10. Jordan always joins us from Facebook. Jordan always comes in, pops in during this show. So welcome, Jordan. Glad to see you. Let's see if anyone else gave scores. I'm shooting up there. James Grant, the Coog Jet. Nope. Okay, I think we're good. All right, Tazzy, what did you think of tonight's show?
I didn't like the Havoc match. Not just kidding. But
gee, I wonder why.
Honestly, that was one of my favorite matches because the build of that match has been building for a minute, and it's like I'm excited about the match. Well, I'm excited either way, but I'm more excited about the match now because that match can go either way it goes. Like, are they going to keep the titles? Are they not going to keep the titles? It's one of those. We'll talk about it later. But the other match was the preview for the Ultimate X match. Oh my God. If we get that on Saturday, I am totally down. And like I said, Impact, don't start. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the show at 8.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Warren says 7.5. Sean Rousset says 8 out of 10. Chad says, I love the Havoc match since Tasha is Tazzy and I's favorite peach. Big Dan said, I was monitoring via Facebook, and I think Chelsea Green will join the future husband. But keep in mind, Jessica and Cassie are now iconic free agents. Yeah, I'd love to see them there. James Chadwick says 8.5 out of 10. Tip Hill Mike says 9 out of 10. Finally made it in here, so just trying to see who's in this bitch. The Go Home show for Impact Wrestling was good. 8 out of 10, says J Hub.
What just happened?
There you go. Good point, Big Dan. You think she'll be in the championship match, says Azan. All right. Well, Jeff, you're up, man. What did you think of tonight's show?
I gotta follow that.
Yeah, right. Little tough to follow J Hub's comment. Yes.
Right. I know, man. I thought it was a solid show. Was it their best go home show? No. But I think that's in large part because Saturday is going to be so crazy.
Yeah.
And we're going to get so much, I think. And I believe that because they have fans coming back, they're going to save a lot of the big moments for Saturday. So, I thought it was a solid show. For me, what really stood out was the 8-man match with the competitors for the X Division title for the Ultimate X match. Chris Bay kind of separating himself from both sides really stood out to me. I would say that he's definitely one of my favorites. We'll get into who I think is going to win it, but he's one of the folks that I think has a real strong shot at winning it. Because I'll give you a spoiler, I don't think Josh retains. But for me tonight, I'm going to say an 8. I thought it was a solid show. I wish I would have gotten some more information in terms of what's the deal with Sue Young now. Is she back? Maybe a little bit more with Sammy and Kenny, although I don't think you really needed it. But yeah, I'm so excited for Saturday, and what they did tonight, kept me hyped for it. So I'm, good stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna say about the same thing. I was gonna say a 7.5. I can go up to an 8 probably on it. Like Jeff said, was it one of the best? Was it a oh my god kind of a show? No, but there were a lot of things I did like. Obviously, for me, the thing with Havoc obviously looking like she's joining Decay. That was amazing. Seeing Father James Mitchell there and kind of looking like he's going to induct her into Decay. And then obviously, yes, like Jeff mentioned, the whole thing with Susan and Sue Young. And of course, Kimberly gets dragged into that room. So what is going on with that? Are they going to sacrifice poor Kimber? Do they need a human sacrifice to bring the undead bride back? Is that what they're doing with Kimber? Is Kimber gone now? And yeah, what are the surprises going to be? Who is going to wrestle Deonna Purrazzo? Everybody thought they had that figured out. Everybody thought it was Chelsea Green. Hands down, that was the pick. Now, people aren't so sure, and I kind of dig that because now there's things coming from everywhere, and you don't know. Probably not almost anyone has the same pick, and we'll get to that a little bit later. And you guys can tell us who you think it is, but it's cool to have that. It's a mystery. You're not going to know until you see it, and the fans are going to be the ones that are going to benefit from this. Remember, this thing sold out in less than a half an hour when the tickets went on sale. So the fans are going to really benefit from all of the surprises. And like Jeff said, this is the first pay-per-view they're having with fans back. Just seeing that is going to make it that much better. And, of course, with me, that Ultimate X Division match, I'm really, really stoked for that because, again, it's something new to me. I have not, other than what we see on the highlights and stuff through the matches on Impact, I haven't seen one live. So I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be my first one of those that I see live. So excited for that. The Sammy and Kenny thing, I don't really think that needed much more of a build-up than it already had. We got the stipulation that we thought we were going to get. And, look, it is what it is. You're seeing a lot of it on social media, and people may not like that. But, listen, it's built up to as good as it's going to be built up to at this point. So I really don't think they needed that. And then the big man, Joe Doring, getting another win, another notch in his belt. And looks as if that they are really kind of pushing Joe Doring as well. So that was kind of cool also. And we saw the whole thing with the ex-best friends kind of blowing up, Brian Myers and Matt Cardona as well. And who is Matt Cardona's partner going to be now? According to Scott D'Amore, it's a hot mess. So we'll see. Some good teases tonight. And that's kind of what I like because it's going to get people watching. And so, yeah, So that's why I gave it what I did. Let's see what people are saying in the chat here a little bit. Would be great if it was Britt Baker versus Deanna, says Warren. Mark, hello, insiders. I'm new on here. Great streams. You all do great work. Well, thank you, Mark, for joining from Facebook. Welcome. If you have not yet checked it out, please go and check out our YouTube page as well. We really appreciate you watching from anywhere you watch from Facebook as well, if you enjoy that. But please go check out our YouTube as well. And if you can, hit that subscribe button. We really, really appreciate that. But welcome. We're glad you joined. Make sure you join us every Thursday night. We do Impact every single Thursday night. Watch along streams for Impact. So really glad you're here. Okay, let's get to why we are really here tonight, and that is our Slammiversary picks. So we're going to do those right now, and that will be the rest of our show tonight. Normally on this, we kind of go a little more match by match, go over some things like that, a little more about the previous show. But because we really don't have a chance to do these any other time, we had to use tonight's show as our prediction show for Slammiversary. So that is what we are going to do for the rest of the show. So please, you guys play along. Let us know what your picks are for the matches as we go, and we will all go round table, let you know who we think are going to win some of these matches. Jeff mentioned in the show, if you weren't there, that maybe we'll have a little friendly wager going on, somewhere down the line with our picks, and we'll see. We'll see what we wager, but it's not going to be anything devastating. And I'm not watching The Exorcist, just so you all know. Just let me make that clear. Maybe Nick Aldis shows up. I think the NWA Impact, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling relationship could be something to make Stanford sweat. Oh, I don't doubt it yet. I downgraded my score because I saw that prick Caleb twice. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. All right. Let's get started with Slammiversary. And what do we have as the first match we're going to pick?
Well, let's get started with the last match that was added since Impact. Thank you a lot. You didn't give me time to get a graphic because you didn't put it anywhere, you mother. Anyway, so let's start with that one. Matt Cardona and a mystery partner versus Brian Myers and Tennille Dashwood.
All right, Jeff, I'll start it right back with you. Let's go there, and you guys can tell us, first of all, who you think is going to win it and who is Mr. Cardona's mystery partner. So, Jeff, go ahead. Start it off. Who is Matt Cardona's mystery partner? Is it, and I know Conrad brought this up, is it another personality of Chelsea Green? Is it the hot mess that D'Amore referred to? Or is it just a tease and it's going to be somebody else altogether? Who do you think is Matt Cardona's partner, and who's going to win?
You know, goodness gracious, this is tough because I really want to be right about Chelsea Green showing up in that match against Deanna, but it's really hard for me to not go with Chelsea here. So I'm gonna say Chelsea is gonna show up, and maybe like Conrad said earlier, maybe she pulls something out of Matt that's different than what we've seen. But I think whoever shows up with him, they're going to get the win over Brian Myers and Tennille Dashwood. Okay,
fair enough. Brian Myers doesn't lose very much at pay-per-views, at least that I've seen. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. All right, let me go to Tazzy. Tazzy, go ahead. Who do you think is going to be the partner of Matt Cardona? And, of course, who do you think wins the match?
Well, after the weekend, I was like, oh, dang, it can't be Chelsea. Chelsea winning, going to Impact. But I was like, this is not WWE where you can't go to different shows.
Right.
So my thing is, it's probably going to be Chelsea Green being Cardona's partner, which then means they will win the match because, come on, why would you have them lose the match after she come back, and then that would make no sense. So I'm going to go with Chelsea Green on that, and they'll go for the win.
Okay. All right. Kevin Davis. Hello, Kevin. We're doing well. And thank you for the very nice compliments. We really, really appreciate that. Big Dan says, maybe Mickey James. Chad Schrader saying, I say hot mess, Laurel Van Ness. Hot mess, Bebe. James Chadwick says, all right. So let me go to Conrad. Conrad, what are you thinking?
I'm going to make it a trifecta, a hat trick, whatever you want to call it. I am going to say that it will be Chelsea Green, Laurel Van Ness, whatever you want to call her. That's my pick. But I was sitting here thinking, though, while I was listening to you guys talk about it, she's not wrestling in Ring of Honor because she supposedly injured her wrist. So that's weird that you can't wrestle in the women's tournament for Ring of Honor, but you're going to wrestle for Slammiversary. And also, I think it's weird that she's not wrestling with a wrist injury, though, because most people just throw on the cast and keep it moving. So there's a lot of intrigue still around this, but I'm going to stick with my gut, and I'm going to go with Laurel Van Ness.
Okay, fair enough. And who do you think wins the match?
You got to give it to them. If she's making her return, I think her and Cardona get the W.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The thing I find intriguing about this, too, is now the fact that Tenille kind of inserted herself into this when she was kind of entrenched in that whole thing with Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering. So that kind of came off as being a little bit different to me as well. So, something to think about. She hasn't signed with Ring of Honor yet, says Warren. I'm going to agree with all of you guys. I'm not going to go against the grain here. I think, we got the reference to a hot mess a few times. Now, we got it in reference to Deanna as well. Scott D'Amore has kind of been name-dropping it a little bit. But I think, now that and I didn't know about that injury that Conrad just mentioned, but now that I know about that, that could be kind of part of playing into the storyline where she can't possibly show up because she's injured. I agree. I think it is going to be Chelsea Green. I think it will be her and Matt Cardona that will get the win there over the heels. It's really interesting development. When all of us about a week ago pretty much thought that Chelsea Green was a lock to be in that championship match against Deanna. So things are going to have to change. All right. Let's see. Big Dan says wrestling shades of Bob Orton with the cast. All right. What's next?
All right, guys. W. Morrissey against Eddie Edwards.
This is going to be, I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen Morrissey challenged yet, really. And, most of his matches have been squash matches, even against Rich Swann. So is Eddie Edwards going to be able to stop this guy is the question. So I will go to Tazzy first. Tazzy, what do you think? Is Morrissey going to continue his reign of terror in Impact Wrestling, or does Eddie Edwards derail the train?
This is insane that this whole card is unpredictable, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so Morrissey, I don't think he's going to lose his match, because why would you lose somebody that you're actually like pushing like that? I like Eddie, but he can lose. It's not a big deal. It's not going to hurt his reputation or whatever. But Morrissey needs to win, so Morrissey wins.
Okay. All right. How's it going, Morrissey? Conrad, go ahead. What do you think?
It says it right up on the screen. Poor Eddie. J-Hub even. No, you can go to J-Hub. That's even better. It's
right, this is fucking done.
That's it. That's all I got to say. He's done, bro. He's getting cooked.
All right, fair enough. Jeff, go ahead, man.
I mean, why go against everyone else? I love Eddie Edwards. I really hope Alicia brings a pillow and a blanket down ringside for Eddie, because I have a feeling that he's going to take a little nap, nice little siesta, during this. So I've got Morrissey. He's going to continue to be build as this huge monster. So Morrissey for the W. See what I did there?
There you go. That's Morrissey for the W. Nice. Very nice. The question is, man, is who's going to stop this dude? Like, obviously he's on his way to, it gets into that championship picture. Who is going to bring this guy down? Man. Let's see what some people are saying here. Poor Eddie Edwards, says Conrad in the chat. Easy Morrissey because Eddie is going night, says Chad. Eddie Edwards is fucking done from J-Hub. Morrissey with help. His little brother. Oh, boy. Let's see. Big Dan says, okay, Jeff Tazzy and Conrad Morrissey wins thanks to a debuting Enzo. It would be one hell of a shocker. Some people are saying Enzo is going to be there. All right. I'm going to go with Morrissey here, too. As much as I like Eddie Edwards and respect him, I just don't think he's the one that's going to stop Morrissey. And especially if the only caveat to this would be is if he wasn't going to stick around. Then, maybe he might lose that last match before he leaves. But there's been really no indication from anywhere that he wouldn't. So, I think Morrissey wins. I think he wins again. Now, Eddie, I think will give him a little more of a tough match, maybe a little bit more of a challenge than some of these other guys have. But I think Morrissey does end up winning, and I think he wins pretty convincingly. So, all right, we're all agreed there. What is next?
Man, so this is going to be well, I'll give that later, but Moose and Chris Sabin.
Man, Moose and Chris Sabin. All right, I will start off this one with myself. I'm going to go with Moose here. I can't, as much as I love and respect Chris Sabin, and I think this is going to be a good match. I do. I think that this will be a longer match than I think a lot of people are going to expect. I think there's going to be a lot of offense from Chris. But ultimately, I think Moose will get the victory here, and I think he'll get back to his winning ways after, of course, losing that match to Kenny. And I think he'll get back on track, and they'll have him going after whatever he wants to go after. And like we had talked about it during the show a little bit, and I'm not going to steal Jeff's thunder and obviously Conrad's thunder. Obviously, talking about a possible return of a former partner of Chris Sabin, and how does maybe that cost him in this match, one way or another, and does that lead to a future feud between two ex-tag team partners? So interesting to say, but I'm going to pick Moose here. Either way, whether it's because of shenanigans that cause it or whether Moose just takes out Chris, I think I'm going to go with Moose here. So, all right, I'll turn it over to Conrad. Go ahead. Who do you think is going to get this one?
Moose easily is going to get the win here, but I feel like this is a test for Moose. And I'm going to kind of put Sabin over at the same time. I feel like Chris Sabin this is going to be Moose's level up test. I think he passed it with Kenny Omega last time. Will he do business? We don't know. You haven't really given us an indication if you signed the contract. Now that he has, it's like, okay, we got to build this guy up to be a big deal. He's got to get ready to take someone out. So you're building Moose up, but I think Chris Sabin's the perfect guy to put him in there. I feel like he's in teacher mode now, so this should be a heck of a match.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Jeff, what do you think?
I was just about to say the same thing, that, at this point, this is all about, is Moose truly ready? Like, we've seen all these transformations. Is he truly ready? I kind of hinted at this earlier, but I honestly think at the end of the night, while we're all looking forward to the Ultimate X match, I think this could be one that steals the show. Because I think Moose has shown in ring, I mean, he's tremendous. He's upped his game. He's done all of that. But at this point, Sabin, he's the mainstay. He's the guy that's done a lot of stuff in Impact. So who better than to be a litmus test for Moose? And if he's able to capture gold at some point, I got to go with Moose here. Moose is he's been tremendous. The run that he's been on over the last year plus has been great. And I think while he suffered a little bit of a setback against Kenny, I think he's going to overcome that. But I would not be surprised if we got a return from Alex Shelley. And what he does, I mean, hey, anything that he does is great. If he comes back and he tries to help Chris, then we get an additional tag team. If he comes back and he kind of tries to interrupt and go after Chris, then we've got a feud between two longtime friends and teammates. And I, for one, would love to see those two do battle. And Lori, if you're listening, or if you listen to this later, please do not come after me. I promise you, I'm not trying to be mean to your guys. I don't want to get beat up. So yeah, I'll stop now.
All right, there you go. James Shadwick saying Moose, 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 Moose. I think Moose will win too, says Warren. Moose annihilates Saban, says Big Dan. Moose for the win, says Sean Bruce. Say I'm going with Moose because I don't want him showing up to my house and make me go night-night, says Chad Schrader. Saban with a huge upset, says Tip Hill Mike 37.
Wow.
Okay. Moose is going to stomp the shit out of Chris Saban, says J Hub. Saban ain't a former world champion for nothing, says James Chadwick.
Right.
All right. Tazzy, what do you got?
Moose. Okay. I always wanted to do that. I honestly, for surely, I know Moose is going to win this just because we need to push him back up. Because if whoever wins out of that main event, who's next? It's probably going to have to be Moose, right? Because who else is going to be? Right now, you don't have nobody push up to where they can actually, be the next main event match. So Moose is winning. It's going to be a tough match. It's really going to be a really, really good match. I'm looking forward to it. Regardless, I think somebody's going to go to sleep. Sorry. Yeah. Regardless, I think somebody's going to go to sleep, but we'll see. Moose for the win.
All right. James Shadwick with the old booze chant. There you go. All right. Well, there you go. Jeff says could be a show stealer, so we'll see. What do we got next?
All right. Now, instead of calling this match what it is, we're just going to call this the match that Joe loses his voice. Ultimate X match. This is going to be insane.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Like I said, I love it, and I'm really, really looking forward to this. I think this is going to be awesome. I hope, and Scott Demore, if you do listen to our show, please don't start the show with this match. I would really like to have my voice for the rest of the show, but I have a funny feeling that it might. But anyway, yes, an Ultimate X match, the first I've seen live. I'm super excited about this. 6 great athletes in that ring. And, look, any of them could come out on top in this. I do agree with Jeff, though, that I think that Josh is going to drop that belt. I think he's going to lose that X Division title. So who is going to win it is the question. And I'm going to go with, man, I'll tell you, I love Rohit. I really do. And I mean, I'm going to go with Chris Bay. I'm going to go with Chris Bay here. I think Chris Bay wins this match. And I think, kind of a to the moon kind of a thing with him. And, he's been out there for a while. He's been kind of getting his wins here and there. But I think that Chris Bay wins this match. And I think we see him move on with that X Division title. Don't be too upset, though, if you're a Josh fan, because Josh could be going right into another title picture instead of the X Division. So I don't think he's going to be out of that title picture for very long. I think this was just kind of the first thing to get him going up that ladder. So, and I think he's still on his way. But that's what I'm going with. I'm going with Chris Bay in this one. So let me I'll go to Conrad. Conrad, who wins?
Making this tough. To me, it's down to 2 people in my head. It's either you have Josh retain and he's going to go on a heck of a run with the belt, or you got to go with Chris Bay. I remember Chris Bay not having too much of a title reign. I think we're going to go. I'm going to agree with you, Joe. We're going to go with Chris Bay for the W. But I do think Josh Alexander is going to move up to the main event scene. Yeah. And I saw what Azan put in the chat, too, about Trey Miguel. Completely agree, Azan. I know Trey's been desperately needing a big win, but he's just kind of stuck right now. So we'll have to see what happens.
Yep. Chad says, I really want Josh to win this match. And Joe will do his Vince McMahon voice after Josh wins. First Ultimate X match in 5 years, says James Chadwick. Trey needs a moment, Azan said. All right. So, Jeff, I'll go to you. Who wins? And why?
I think it was very telling tonight seeing Chris Bay
Yeah.
do what he did. And I think, the lesson to take from it is while you've got Rohit and Ace Austin kind of teamed up,
Yep.
you've got PD and Josh and Trey. That kind of leaves, one person out because those five are going to go after each other because of the history.
Yep.
And I think that could come back to backfire. If Josh loses this, I don't want people to feel like, man, he got a short run. What I want you to see is he's done so much with this run that it's time to elevate him a little bit more. And I think you do that with a match against someone like a Chris Sabin or someone along those lines. He gets that win, and then we see him maybe start to go up against and possibly challenge the winner of the championship match. But I think for me, I think Chris Bay wins. I'm loving the kind of sneaky, I'm always 3 to 5 steps ahead of the rest of you kind of deal. And it shows how calculated and calculating he is. So I think that will be great. And maybe later on we start to get some more feuds, maybe him and Trey Miguel or, something like that would be great. But yeah, I got Chris Bay winning this. And I think after this, we're going to start to see Josh a lot more in some very serious conversations.
Yeah. I mean, Josh can end up going through some, they've got Macklin sitting out there. You've got Morrissey sitting out there. I mean, if they really want to elevate him, you haven't beat these beasts that are waiting out there for somebody to just knock them off. So, yeah, I agree. All right, Tazzy, what do you think?
So
evil.
Yeah, like really evil. We all know this is the biggest pay-per-view for Impact, right? So you gotta do something big, right? I don't think it's gonna be somebody you least suspected. You guys said his name. Why not do it? Trey Miguel might win this match. I just have that feeling like there's always that underdog, the least suspected, especially on a pay-per-view this big. It's always somebody that's underdog to actually win a match. So I'm gonna go with Trey Miguel.
Okay. All right, fair enough. So Tazzy goes against the grain. Let's see. Big Dan says Decay will be the opener. Yeah, you're probably right. And thankfully, I'll be there for it. I think we potentially get a debut or return in this match. Maybe Tony Nese, just throwing it out there. Since Slammiversary is going to be full of shocking moments. Alex, yes, you can tell us your prediction. That's what we're doing. Please do. Let's see. Chris Bay wins by help of some new signed people, maybe a stable. So does anyone see the winner of this match cashing in the X Division title at Destination X for a shot at the world title? That'd be cool. Bay wins, says Randy Sam. Conrad, I didn't tell you this, but Impact can build Bay as that guy like AJ Styles used to be. Not comparing to, not compared, though, not to be compared. Okay. I'm going with DK to win, says Randy Sam. Not this match, but okay. If Josh doesn't win this match, I pick Trey to win, says chat. All right. So Tazzy went against the grain. We've got 3 people picking Chris Bay, but I think we all kind of agree that this is not the end for Josh. So don't fear that. I think that Josh has just got, sky's the limit for him, and I think he's just going to go into, like Conrad said, probably in a different title picture than this. All right. What is up next?
Sorry, Tezzy. That's my spoiler. Sorry, Tazzy.
All right. We have Tazzy's favorites going up against Havoc and Rosemary. That is Fire and Flava for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. I'm going to start out with, well, you know what? Why don't we go right into it? Start out with Tazzy. Tazzy, who's winning?
I don't know. I was like, oh no, I really don't know. I really don't know. I like the way this was built. I like the way this was built, and we brought up a new tag team. That's a good tag team over there now. Like you got somebody that's like you got the power and you got the speed over there now, and then of course it's the same thing on the other side too. So who's winning? I like prolonging it. I hate to say this, but Havoc and Rosemary is gonna win this match. Basically, the simple fact that you're building up a tag team, so why not have them win? And then, Fire and Flavor, they're not going to lose much because they was the champion, so they're not going to be buried or anything like that. So they'll be fine. So Havoc and Rosemary's going to win.
All righty. Well, I got to pick this one with my heart. Rosemary and Havoc. Yes, I just look the way that they're building this up now, and if Havoc is truly in Decay, they're going to give Decay those belts at least for a little bit. And remember, Fire and Flavor now have had 2 title reigns with those titles, so I think it's time to give them to someone else. And why not put the belts on 2 members of Decay, as it looks like it's going to be. So, yeah, I'm going with Havoc and Rosemary here as well. I think it'll be a good match. I think it'll last longer than some people think. But I think that and you always have to watch because Fire and Flavor they can wiggle out of positions that, look, there could be shenanigans on their part. They could do some, heelish kind of things. But we'll see. But I think it's going to be Havoc and Rosemary. Tip Hill Mike says Havoc and Rosemary. Then the Iconics show up to challenge them. That'd be a cool place for the Iconics.
I like that shout. That's a good shout.
It. Yeah, very good shout out. Okay. Since Fire and Flavor lost at the last pay-per-view, says is on. Will Rally Sport Rally says Havoc and Rosemary. Myself. James Grant says the same. James Chadwick says Rosemary and Havoc. Randy Sam agrees. Tip Hill Mike says Rosemary and Havoc. I'm going Rosemary and Havoc as well, says Chad. Havoc will split it up big time in Celebration if they win. Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe Father James Mitchell, the legend, manages Decay as 2.0 New Church in ECW days. And I'm going with Havoc. And Rosemary says Alex. What if Tucker from Heavy Machinery shows up Saturday? As for this match, I'm going to pick Decay because you need something before Contorting Alexis Sunday. No, I don't want to see Contorting Alexis Sunday. But yes. All right. Let me go to Conrad. Conrad, who do you got?
I think I'm going to be the weird one here. I think we're going to go with Fire and Flavor to retain the titles. I think that Havoc and Rosemary's journey towards climbing towards the titles, aren't done just yet. I'm going to keep it that simple for right now.
Okay, fair enough. Jeff, what do you got?
I swerved all of you. Fire and Flavor will retain.
Okay.
I think we're going to find out that maybe this allegiance that we thought we had might not be as solidified as we think, because anytime Father James Mitchell is involved in anything, it never goes as planned. Let's just be honest. I think there are 2 things that could happen here. One, I think this is where we could possibly see a return of Su Yung. But I also think that we could get the debuting team of the Iconics.
Okay.
And I don't think it's, in terms of the championships, I don't think they need to, I don't think Havoc and Rosemary need to be transitional champions. I think if you bring in a team like the Iconics, I feel like you have to put them into the picture sooner rather than later. So for me, I would go with Fire and Flavor to retain. We get a little bit of a rift between Havoc and Rosemary, but then we get this new team debuting and kind of doing a face-off with the retaining champs.
All right, that'd be cool. Very cool. So 2-2 in that one. All right, let's go. What's next?
All right, so we go from crazy to crazy.
Oh, man.
World Tag Team Championship matchup. This is going to be insane.
Absolutely. We've got Violence by Design, and of course they have that, that could be any of those two guys that are going to be in there. Rich Swann and Willie Mack. You've got TJP and Fallah Bahh, and you've got the Good Brothers. Of course, you've got the big stare down between the Big LG and Joe Doring tonight. So, all right, let me start with Conrad. Conrad, which of these teams wins those championships?
I think we're going to get a retain for Violent by Design. I feel you can get away with it in this matchup, too. There will be other favorites in here that people will want to see win. The Good Brothers have been spending a lot of their time in AEW. I don't think you can rely on them. TJP and Fallah Bahh, it's been fun. It ain't time. Rich Swann and Willie Mack. Swann just had the world title. Willie's trying to get on the come up. It ain't time. I think Violent by Design needs to be a stronger force than what they have been. So that's my prediction. I'm giving it to them.
I'm going to agree with you, too. I'm going to go with Violent by Design as well because, again, we're seeing Joe Doring built up there, and I just think that, it's not their time to lose. For all the reasons you just said, the Good Brothers, again, they're not around as much, and who knows whether or not, they're ever able to go to New Japan once the COVID thing clears over there. Swann and Mack, just reformed. But again, very similar reasons that you said, but I'm going to go with Violent by Design as well. Tazzy, go ahead. What do you think?
As much as I want the Good Brothers to win this match, I don't think it's the right time because they're all over the place. I'll keep it real with you. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
So just short and sweet. VBD is actually going to keep the titles. That's all I got to say.
Okay, there you go. Zahn says the Good Brothers. Let's see here. Swann and Mack says Tip Hill Mike. I'm going to Violent by Design, says Chad. The Good Brothers wins thanks to some help. Oh, okay. Returning Heath Slater helps Violent by Design to win. Wow, okay. Okay, to join his buddy Rhino. Yeah, that'd be cool. Violence by motherfucking Design for the win, says J-Hub. Joe picked the K. I see Joe's face expression, says Jeff. Yeah, I'm not going to be happy if they lose. Heath maybe returns. Good Brothers take this, leading to a Bullet Club hostile takeover as a nod to the 25th anniversary of the NWO. But maybe this could be where, say, Wesley Blake could debut with Violent by Design. All right, Jeff, go ahead, man.
So I'm going to agree. I think that Violent by Design picks up the win. They retain. I like the Heath Slater call.
Yeah,
and I had that in my mind, but I think he's going to return and be so disgusted with his friend for embracing this darkness that he's going to come with a friend. And who knows? I mean, that friend could be Tucker. It could be Buddy Murphy if they let him go early. There are I see. So there are quite a few possibilities here, but I think, and Jeff Samuel just threw out the other name, Alexander Wolf is out there. So I think we see Heath return. I think we get a showdown, a stare down between Violent by Design and Heath and his new partner. And that's where I think we end up with this match, because all of the things that you guys said, the Good Brothers between New Japan Strong and AEW, they're not going to be an impact much, honestly. TJP, Fallah Bahh, we're not there yet. Rich Swann and Willie Mack, they got to keep grinding for a little bit more. So, yeah, I think we're going to get that, and this is where I think we could see the return of Heath and possibly one of the names that I threw out there. So, but I think that's what I hope that's what we get.
All right, there you go. All right, let's move right along to our next match.
All right, here we go.
This is going to take a little bit because, who is the mystery opponent for Deonna Purrazzo? There are choices galore out there. Again, everybody thought, most people thought anyway, it was going to be Chelsea Green. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case anymore. Not only because she's in Ring of Honor, but now it looks as if she's going to be involved in another match. What are the other names? You've got, names thrown around like Mickie James. We've had people mention Thunder Rosa. We had people in our chat mention Britt Baker. We had, people from the promotion itself. We know that Kimber and that Susan have a grudge now against Deonna Purrazzo. We know something's going on with Susan backstage with Father James Mitchell, and they dragged Kimber into the door. We don't know what came of that. I'm going with Su Yung. I'm going with Su Yung as the opponent. I know maybe some people think, well, that's not such a big surprise. It's obvious. Yes and no. It's obvious, but people might not really be thinking about it that way because they're thinking that it's going to be somebody brand new coming in. So I'm going to go with Su Yung. Listen, who took Su Yung out before when she was here? It was Deonna Purrazzo. Who would have the most to gain by coming in and taking that title from her? To me, it's Su Yung, and that's who I think it's going to be. Now, I think it's going to be a much more motivated Su Yung, and whatever is going on with Kimber, are they going to have Kimber be maybe an undead bride? Is that what she's going to come down to the ring as? Is that why they took her in the back? I don't know, but I'm going with Su Yung here as that mystery opponent. Now, the only thing that doesn't make a lot of sense with that is why did Gail Kim come down and talk about it? Because a lot of people are saying, well, what's the reason why Gail Kim would have come down to announce? And that I get. That's probably the only thing that makes me maybe think differently about it, because Gail was the one to come down, and there's really, there's not that much of a relation, at least that I know of. Maybe there has been, because I haven't watched Impact as long as some of the other guys in the chat have. So, but I'm going to go with Su Yung, and if it is indeed her, I think she takes that title. I think she will dethrone Deonna Purrazzo. So that's the way I'm going. I think it's a revenge angle, and that's where I'm going with it. All right, Tessa Blanchard could be a jaw dropper. Random name, and I'm going to say Paige, says James Chadwick. Tay Conti says is on White. Trish Stratus says Gus. Taylor Wilde says is on. She's been gone for goodness knows how long. Lita says Tip Hill Mike. Kylie Ray says Joe. I mentioned Kylie Ray's name because of the whole thing with the NWA. That would be great. Britt Baker says Joe as well. Chelsea Green, Mickie James, Britt Baker, one of them. Deonna versus Lady Frost. Wow. Jacqueline. So jeez. All right, let me go to. I'll go to Jeff next. Jeff, who is the mystery opponent, and do they beat Deonna Purrazzo?
See, this is tough because again, who knows? There are a couple options. Now, here's what I will say that will throw a wrench in all of this stuff. We mentioned Chelsea Green. Who's to say that Laurel Van Ness isn't Deonna's opponent? If you pick up what I'm putting down, Chelsea Green and Laurel Van Ness are two separate entities. That, just a option out there. But I think it's going to be Ruby Soho. I think it was very telling for her to file that trademark when she did. That leads me to believe that she possibly got out of her contract early. She might have been one of the ones that asked for that. I didn't steal your idea, Azan. I even said someone said this in the chat earlier, so good try. But yeah, I think that's a possibility. But I think Ruby will be the one because, yeah, I just for some reason I think that's going to be the case, and I cannot wait to see if that happens because I'd pop pretty significantly for that one if she shows up there.
Does she win though, Jeff? Is the question.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me go over to Conrad. Conrad, what do you think?
I am going to agree with Jeff on this one. All those names you guys were throwing out there, it had my brain racing, thinking you could do a bunch of different things if you had this person or that person. And who's to say you don't have the Iconics debut here? You could do so many different things with this. And in my opinion, the solid pick, it's got to be Ruby Soho. I feel like I just feel like she would be the right person to be in the mix with this. Does she win? I don't know. You might be able to tell a story where she gets on Deanna's side because maybe Kimberly and someone else named Su Young cost them the match, we could say, and then that befriends Deonna Purrazzo, because I think it's going to turn into a tag team situation with Deonna and them, but she needs a partner. The question is who.
All right, there you go. Will Rally Sports says it's not Ruby Rice. You got a 90-day compete clause. Don't be so sure. We don't really know about any of those no compete clauses anymore. We saw that with Aleister Black.
And with that, Joe, somebody is floating with that 30-day. They were scrambling looking, according to Buddy Murphy. He said, it wasn't me. I wish it was. Because they would have offered me money.
Yeah. Yeah, so don't be so sure about that. We don't know that 100%. That's all like legalese stuff that's tied up in who knows where. But we don't know about that. So let's not be so fast to say that. All right, Tazzy, go ahead, man.
I'm going to do three scenarios. First,
Tazzy's taking the easy way now. I'm just going three ways. I can't be wrong.
I can't do it no more. I'm like my head's scrambled for the whole week. I'm done. Now, I am going to give you my final pick after that. The first one is Britt Baker. The main reason for that one is, it's a big show. Why not just do something big and have at Slammiversary the Impact Champion versus, the AEW champion? Why not do that? The other scenario is Ruby. Would be down to do Ruby because, well, quite frankly, I think she is one of those people, if I'm not mistaken, because she came from NXT, you know how that goes, that she's probably one of those people that had the 30-day clause. Just saying, just throwing it out there. Or, imagine this one. Lights gets dark. You get the undead bridesmaids coming out of the ring, coming out. By the way, we have a big crowd. By the way, we have a crowd. With a casket, they put the casket next to the ring. Over the casket is Su Young. Would be a big pop because it's Su Young, and like you kind of want to do that for a crowd. So my final pick, you guys ready? Will be Su Young, and she will win that match.
All right, there you go. So many that are in the chat, I can't even read them all. DJ Duke said Victoria. Oh man, we're just getting, there's just a ton of people there. Some are saying Ruby. Oh man, I've heard that Sean Ross Sapp said it wasn't Ruby. Like I said, we don't. I don't think anybody knows that for sure. I want it to be Britt Baker, but I think it will be Mickie James. Remember, Deonna got that AA match. Could be Sarah Logan, says Chad Schrader. All right. Well, there you go. Lots of questions around this match. This one's going to be a very exciting lead-in. And, of course, it'll be interesting to see who comes out to challenge Deonna Purrazzo, whether or not they take that title away from her. All right, what's next?
All right. The one we've been waiting for.
There you go.
Omega Callahan.
In a no DQ match. The question I had, and I've been going back and forth with this now for the last several weeks when we found out this was going to be the title match. Is it the time to take that match? Is it the time to take that title off of Kenny? There's a lot of factors here that we have heard. You know, we heard about him being banged up. We heard about, you know, we've seen the stuff going on now with him and the Cowboy on AEW and whether he's going to lose that title soon. So if that's the case, do they want to keep that Impact title on him? There's a ton of stuff here. Could Sami Callihan be the one to take that off of him? Yes. And there are other wrestlers now from Impact getting behind that on Twitter. They're talking about that, how that said, you know, bring that title home, and kind of looking past, you know, previous feuds or whatever that they may have had with him, that they're going to rally around him. I am going to make a final decision here, and I'm going to say no. He's not going to win it. I think this is going to go on a little longer. I think that Kenny holds on to that title a little longer because I think there's someone else that they have in mind that Kenny is going to completely elevate as a face of Impact Wrestling. And I think that person that's going to beat him is going to be Josh Alexander. That may be out there, but listen, whoever is going to beat Kenny, who is the ultimate evil for Impact right now, is going to be more over than anyone's been over in that company for a long, long time. You brought our belt back. And that's who I'm going to say is going to be Kenny. When? I don't know. Could be the next big pay-per-view. Could be, I don't know. But as Conrad said on the show before, this is benefiting Impact Wrestling. You're getting eyes on that product. And do they want to stop doing that right now? I'm going to say no. So I think Kenny Omega retains. And yeah, all right. So I'll shoot it over to Conrad. Go ahead, man. What do you think?
Damn it, I was not ready for this. Because I'm still thinking in my head, I got a lot of scenarios playing out. Because if you're watching Kenny on these other shows, you don't know what to think.
Yep.
Last week, Kenny was feeling horrible and he wanted to retire. I'm like, Sammy's got to win this. Then I heard Kenny's feeling better. He's growing out the mustache. He's dancing in the ring on AEW, running around with the belt. And I'm like, dude, he looks way better this week. What is going on? You have options for what you can do here. This is going to tell such a story, too, because now I don't even know if Hangman's getting the next title shot with the storyline they started building yesterday.
Yep.
The 5-on-5 match. I'm going to be bold. I'm going to say that Hangman plays a role in this, and Sami Callihan gets the W and brings the title back home to Impact Wrestling.
Wow. Okay. All right. So Sammy's going to take that title off of him. All righty. I'm going Sammy, says Chad, because we all know Sammy's going to do something in that match. Kenny Omega and Dawn better get ready because Sammy is taking you to another world. I'm going with, let's see, the Real Bullet Club shows up. Plot twist. Austin Aries shows up and beats Omega with a brain buster. Kenny will lose belts to up-and-coming talent. Josh in Impact, Vikingo in AAA, and Hangman in AEW. All right. Well, there we go. Let me go to Tazzy. Tazzy, what do you think?
This is what I'm thinking. This is the only, the next big pay-per-view is not until October, right? So you're going to let Kenny have the title for another 2 more months? And we don't know how he's going to feel the next 2 months. It's kind of like, can you take that chance? So I don't know what the scenario going to be. All I'm going to say is I know it's no disqualification. I know there's going to be bats involved. There's going to be chairs involved. There's going to be people right in. It's going to be the same match. And I think when the dust clears out, I really think Sami Callihan going to win the match.
Okay. All right. Two people saying that the title reign is over. Jay White shows up, says it's on. Cowboy shit says everything pro wrestling. Come on, Sammy. Fuck that asshole. Up, says James Chapman. Oh, my goodness. All right, Jeff. You got the last word on this one. What are you thinking?
Oh, boy. I've changed my mind 4 times.
I have too.
Since this graphic has been up.
Yeah.
But here's the scenario, because honestly, I would love for Jay White or Okada to show up at the end of this and challenge Kenny. I would love for that to happen. I just don't think that that's going to happen. I think it's very telling that you're seeing all of these Impact wrestlers saying we're going to rally behind Sammy. We're putting our differences aside. You know, the Good Brothers and the Bucks could get involved, and that's all fine and well. But you're not going to beat the entire Impact roster because they want this belt to be back home. They want this thing to be back in Impact. So, with that being said, I think we get the Good Brothers and the Bucks potentially interfering, and we get absolute carnage, and we get a large majority of the Impact roster involved, and they hold those guys at bay. And I think Sami Callihan comes away with the title. However, Sammy, don't get too comfortable, because there just happens to be a big pay-per-view later on in the fall. Just goes by the name of Bound for Glory. And if you really want to take one of your guys that you've helped build, and I'm gonna go with Joe on this, I think that's where Josh Alexander wins the title. Is that Bound for Glory? So I think Sammy, because Sammy has been around a while in Impact, I don't think it'll hurt his legacy or anything to hold a belt for a couple months and then put Josh over. But yeah, that's what I think happened. Listen, this thing could go any way, honestly. I mean, it really could. But I think that's going to happen Saturday, and then I think we start to see who's next. And I think Josh continues his elevation.
All right. There you go. Callahan wins and goes to WWE and throws the Impact title in the trash. Oh, God. You can tell it's getting late. We're getting crazy. Everybody's getting crazy. Will Jack's Effect, hello. How are you? John Moxley says SC Williams. That's what I think will happen too, says Will rallies for it. I wonder if Moose cost Sammy the title on Saturday. Yeah, that's another factor you might have to think of a little bit too. I don't know. All right. Well, there you go. Those are our predictions for Slammiversary. And there's really not much left to say other than make sure that you guys all join us for the pay-per-view. We will be starting our stream at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you are there because you're not going to want to miss a minute of this one. I think it's going to be an absolutely great night of wrestling and a great stream for Impact. So James Shadow says late. It's only 4:20 a.m. So make sure you join us on Saturday. If you are a WWE fan as well, or you just like our streams, which is awesome too, make sure you join us tomorrow night for SmackDown, our first ever stream of SmackDown. We will be doing tomorrow night. We'll also be starting that at 7:30 Eastern Time as well. So if you like that kind of stuff or you just want to join that as well, come over and check it out. And then, of course, like I said, Slammiversary is Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, where we're leading up to with all of this. And, man, what a great pay-per-view this is going to be. What a great time it's going to be to see fans in that building. And I am looking forward to Slammiversary on Saturday. And I hope you guys are all as well. So, all right, guys, that is it. We kept you a little bit later than we normally do, but we did want to get these predictions done. Again, don't forget to join us for SmackDown tomorrow night if you are so inclined to do so. By the way, after SmackDown, we're going to have to stay on a little later after that, too, because we're going to have predictions for Money in the Bank on Sunday as well. So you can hang around for that. We'll be doing that tomorrow night also after that show. And then, of course, Slammiversary on Saturday, Money in the Bank on Sunday. All 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time starts, so makes it easy. And then Monday, we're back again. Abby's window will be at 6, and then we will have our Raw stream at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday. So thank you guys all so much for coming out, giving us your picks, joining in the stream. We're really, really appreciative of that. I know it's late, and we appreciate you coming out and checking out our show. Hopefully, we will see you all for Slammiversary on Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right back here. Again, remember, you've got to get the stream to watch along. It is available through Fight TV. Overseas, I'm sure it's probably different, so you guys will know where to look for that. But remember, you got to get that to watch along because we can't show any of that kind of content. We could get into a lot of trouble if we don't really want to do that. So thank you guys for coming out. Really, really appreciate it. Again, thank you to Conrad for joining us. Of course, Tazzy came out tonight and joined us as well. Really appreciate that. And hopefully, guys, we will see you all for our next stream, which will be tomorrow night for SmackDown at 7:30. Have a great rest of your night, guys. Stay safe, and hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow night, and of course for Slammiversary on Saturday. Good night, everybody.